and Instagram. I'm just typing a little information in on Instagram real quick. Let's see. So bear with me for a moment. We'll just do this while we let some people come in. Tonight is basics class, if I didn't say that already. And my intention with this class is to usually focus on alignments, but tonight we're going to focus on breath work, which really is about alignment too, but we'll talk about that here in just a second. Breath work is called pranayama, and it is one of the 8 limbs of yoga. Asana practice, our physical practice, is one of the limbs as well. So it is just as important as the fancy poses that we make with our body. So coming in to think about breath work can be a really, really important part of our basic practice and a part of our alignment practice. So let me just get this here and then we'll get started. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. It's Monday. I got to go out and kind of align with myself today and got to play with a very funny little pony, which was really nice. And so, you know, almost anything can be alignment, and alignment is really about aligning with whatever is, you know, your truth and your highest self. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight with this breath work. So, as I said, we're going to work on breath work tonight for our basics, not fancy asana poses, not our poses with our alignment that way. As the weeks go on, we're going to get into alignment with specific poses that I think are important poses where we can break down alignments and talk about them. But tonight, I was feeling my own personal alignment that just dropping into some breath work would really make sense. And that's really kind of what alignment is all about. It's about feeling what's right for you and what's the truth for you. And as far as the physical practice goes, we can kind of identify those things when we think about how the physical body is meant to be aligned as a body. For most of us, that's a pretty general thing, but it is our truth. And when we can get into that alignment, it feels good. It feels better. And that's how we know that we're in alignment. That's also how we know that we're in alignment with the truth of who we are. And so alignment goes beyond the physical poses, even beyond this breath work that we're going to talk about tonight, and gets into how can I align with the truth of myself. You know, if we're doing a job, or we're in a relationship, or we're doing something where we're not aligned with our truth, where we're doing it for some reason like expectations or somebody else thinks we should be doing it, that alignment doesn't feel good. And that's how we know when we're out of alignment. And the same thing goes in our body. When we're out of alignment, we'll start to get injuries, we'll start to get chronic pains. And so we can come back into alignment, we start to feel better. And that's really the magic of alignment, and that's one of the reasons why I am totally, admittedly, an alignment junkie. So tonight we're going to align with our breath. And if that sounds like it doesn't make any sense, it's kind of the same thing as our physical body, and the same thing as I was talking about alignment with the truth of who you are and what you should be doing in the world. It's a way of dropping into how the breath is naturally meant to be, and when we can breathe that way, then it feels better for us, and that's how we know that we're in alignment. It feels good. So I see, who do I have? Oh, cool. Yay. Awesome, Paul. Nice to see you on Instagram. Who else do I have? Yay. Hi, Kay. Cool. Yay. I love seeing people on Instagram and Facebook. All right. So as I said, tonight we're not doing asana alignment. We're doing pranayama alignment. We're doing breathwork alignment. Pranayama is also not just the breath. It has to do with our energy, our life force, and it's about aligning that. So we're going to work on what we call in yoga the 3-part breath tonight. And it's just going to be a breathing practice. I'm going to give you 3 options. But before I give you the options on how you can situate yourself for this practice, let's go ahead together. We're going to drop into breath work anyway, but let's go ahead together. Hands can rest on your knees. However you're sitting, if you're in a chair, that's totally fine too tonight. You don't have to be on the floor. If it doesn't feel good to sit cross-legged, you can sit however you like. Go ahead and close your eyes for a moment and take a nice easy inhale and a nice easy exhale. Knowing that we're focusing on the breath tonight, set whatever intention makes sense for you. However that feels aligned for you tonight, what would you like to focus on? I think for me, a lot of times just being present is a great intention, but whatever you want to focus on, let something come up from your heart, your mind, your spirit. And whatever it is, hold it in the space of your heart and just take a few more nice long breaths. And then you can go ahead, blink your eyes open for just a moment, just long enough for me to say, tonight, you can decide how you would like to sit. If you're in a chair, that's totally fine. You can also sit, I'm sitting cross-legged on the floor, but I have a bolster underneath me so that I feel nice and comfy and I can keep my spine long. You can sit like that if you want. If you'd rather tonight, you can lay back in Shavasana. I'm not going to do that because I just want to stay sitting up so I'm a little more awake and it's a little easier for me to talk and instruct. But if you want to lay down in Shavasana tonight, that's totally beautiful. If you want to lay down in Supta Baddha Konasana, which is where your feet are together and your knees are to the outside, but you're laying all the way down, if that feels comfortable for you, that's a really beautiful place to be in for this practice as well. As I said, I'm going to stay sitting up. I kind of love this practice laying down though, so if you have the option to lay down in Shavasana or to lay down in Supta Baddha Konasana, reclining bow angle pose, please go ahead and do that. I think that's a beautiful place to be for this practice. And as I said, we're going to go over our 3-part breath. Before we do that though, I just want to share a little bit about why I wanted to do this tonight. I feel that as we go through this interesting time, right? For a lot of us it's stressful. For a lot of us it's just different. Things have changed. We don't have our normal schedules. Maybe we're stressed for various reasons, health, finances, who knows. One of the best things that we can do is to connect with our breath. And so when we come to do our yoga practice, it doesn't always mean we have to do this crazy asana practice. We don't have to do arm balances and handstands and all these crazy things. Unless we want to, that's totally fine too. But for a lot of us, what we really need is to just stop and connect with our breath and let our breath be that reminder to be present. Let our breath be that reminder that in the present moment, everything is actually okay. And it's just such a great tool to have at our disposal while we're going through this crazy time. One of the interesting things about our breath, and when we think about the alignment of our breath, which I know sounds really funny, but bear with me for a moment. We think about our breath and how it's normally functioning so often, especially in our Western lives as we're going through the world, we're breathing really shallowly. We breathe right into our upper chest. And really our lungs are huge, right? They come all the way down. And so it is more in alignment with our natural way of breathing to send our breath all the way down into the deepest parts of our lungs. It's also really healing for us to do that and to exchange that air that's way down at the bottom so that it's not just stale and not helping us out, but so that it can get flushed with oxygen and really help us to function in our lives. It's also interesting too, though, as we naturally going through our Western lives, breathing to the upper part of our chest. The other thing is that when we get stressed, we breathe more shallowly and we breathe more quickly. When we feel relaxed, we breathe more deeply and we breathe more slowly. But we can use that knowledge to actually influence how we're feeling. So if we need to get excited, we can breathe really shallowly and get excited. Sometimes we want to do that. But if we need to calm ourselves down, we can breathe more deeply, we can breathe more slowly, and we can use that to shift how we feel. So I think it's really, really profound to teach ourselves to breathe the way we're naturally meant to breathe. And it's just like asana alignment, right? We've spent all this time, for myself, 39 years, right? We've spent all this time putting ourselves out of alignment, or we've spent all this time practicing breathing a way that we're not naturally meant to breathe. And so it takes some practice to teach ourselves how to get back into alignment. So take a moment, just as you're sitting here, and if you're a yogi, it might not work, but just take a second without thinking too hard, because if you think too hard, you're going to figure out the answer, and it's not going to work. But just take a second and think. When you breathe in, just breathe in kind of hard, like, and then exhale. And think, when you breathe in, does your stomach go out or in? Right? Think about it. Breathe in for a second. And which way did your stomach go? So for a lot of us, when we breathe in, we also suck the stomach in. And when we breathe out, we let that stomach relax out. And we're going to learn here in a second that we actually want to do the opposite. When we breathe in, we want our abdomen to go out. When we breathe out, we want it to draw in, so it's helping to expel the air out. So let's go ahead and step into this practice that we call the 3-part breath. And just like we did a moment ago, you can let your hands rest on your knees and just close your eyes. Take a nice easy inhale and a nice easy exhale. And just let your breath flow in and out for a few moments. Not trying to force it or change it, just letting it be. Feeling the air flowing in through your nose, down the back of your spine. Feel it floating up the front of your spine and out the crown of your head. And again, if you're laying down, that's a beautiful place to be. If you're sitting up, that's totally okay too. And then you have choices. I always like to give choices. So first, we're going to feel our breath and try to send it all the way down into our stomach. So whether you're sitting down or laying down, you can take your hands and actually place them on your stomach. If that doesn't feel right for you, you can keep your hands off of your stomach and just feel it with your body. But I think it's really great to have the tactical feeling of your hands there on your abdomen and put them kind of low, like so your thumbs are around your belly button and your pinkies are almost down towards your pubic bone. So hands there on your lower part of your abdomen. And as you inhale, let the stomach expand outward. So if you're sitting up, it's going forward. If you're laying down, it's going up. And just fill your hands and feel your hands pushing out with the inhale. And then as you exhale, draw your stomach back in and feel your hands moving back in if they're there. And just try that for 5 or 6 nice deep breaths. Breathing all the way into your stomach. So inhaling, the stomach goes outward. Exhale, draw it back inward. Keep breathing like that. And then when you feel ready, you can move your hands to your side ribs. So the lower ribs on the side, and kind of just wrap your fingers around, whether you're laying down or sitting up, almost like you're trying to make a corset around your sides. And as you're breathing now, feel your breath expand your side ribs out to the side, and then as you exhale, feel your side ribs draw all the way back in. So try that for 5 or 6 nice long breaths. And then from there, take your hands, one on top of the other, right up at the top of your chest, so right on your sternum, that flat part above your chest, just below your collarbone. One hand on top of the other. And as you breathe, feel your breath fill that space. So feeling your upper chest expanding as you inhale, drawing back in as you exhale. Noting that this is that more shallow place that we often only breathe into. But it's an important part of our breath, important part of how our breath moves. And so feel it going into your upper chest for 5 or 6 nice long breaths. And then from there, just go ahead, release your hands. If you're on your back, they can just be out to the side, palms facing up to the sky. If you're sitting up, you can rest your hands on your lap, either palms down or palms up. And now let's just feel all 3 parts of that breath. So as you inhale, your stomach expands, your side ribs expand, your chest rises. As you exhale, the chest draws in, the side ribs draw in, and the stomach draws in. And just breathe like that for a few minutes. Really feel your breath going all the way down into your stomach. We know the breath doesn't go into the stomach, but as you inhale, if you're taking a nice full breath, your diaphragm drops down to make space for that breath, and that displaces your abdominal organs, and so you can feel the stomach expand outward to make that space. But as it draws back inward, you can use that drawing in to really help push the air out. So feel it. Our nice 3-part breath into the stomach, into the side ribs, into the upper chest. Drawing in upper chest, side ribs, abdomen. Just feel that for a few moments. And then when you feel ready, whether you're laying down or sitting up, let's bring our hands to touch with our heart. If you're laying down and you'd like to make your way up to seated, you can. If you want to stay laying down, it's totally okay too. However you are there, go ahead, take a moment, take your mind back to your intention. Check in with yourself without any judgment, see how it went. If it didn't make any sense for our practice tonight, know that that's totally okay too. And then most importantly, take a moment and honor the light that exists within you and thank yourself for coming to our class today. I thank you all for being here with me as well. Whether you're here in this present moment or watching this later, know that we are all part of one unified whole, and I really appreciate you being here. I honor the light within you and within all beings. Namaste. Alright, thank you all for being here. I encourage you just to play with this through your evening, through your day, through your week. See when you can catch yourself. Are you breathing all the way down into your stomach? Are you pulling your stomach in when you're breathing? And if you can consciously shift that, how does it make a difference in how you're feeling in your life? Just see what wants to happen there for you. Alright, I will see you all again soon. Please tune in for one of my other classes. I've got chair yoga on Wednesday mornings at 9:30 Eastern. I've got our knee-on-this class, which starts on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We've got mythology and meditation on Sundays, and all sorts of other things. So I hope to see you all again real soon. And just a reminder, if you can and want to donate because you're enjoying classes with me, please do so. It's really easy. JenCarter.com/donate is all the information. If you can't donate, know that that's totally fine too. And if you are enjoying classes, please share with others and encourage others to sign up for my newsletter and to follow me on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. Alright, I hope everyone has a wonderful evening or afternoon or day wherever you are, and I will talk to you all again soon. Aloha, namaste.